Born in Rukungiri in 1938, Mathew Rukikaire's political activities started right from school, where he served in many capacities as a student leader. As a student leader at Kigezi High School in Kabale, Rukikaire was politically active and participated in the national politics. At the time of the 1966 crisis, he was the National Secretary of the Uganda People's Congress, the governing party. Yet Rukikaire did not feel safe during the crisis, so he fled into exile in Kenya.
But I think there was a general feeling, perhaps supported by facts, that I was one of those people who did not agree with Obote, and that I thought he was leading the country in the wrong direction. So to that extent, I was part of the people who were being, if you want, persecuted.
Luckily enough, he landed a good job.
Because I got a job there with the East African community. At that time, the headquarters was in Nairobi, and I was interviewed for a job. I got it. And shortly after that, perhaps less than 1 year, I got another job through also the East African community, going as a representative of the East African countries to Brussels to represent East Africa to the European Economic Community.
He excelled at his job and was transferred to Arusha at the East African Community headquarters. And in 1971, Idi Amin Dada overthrew Dr. Milton Obote in a military coup. At this point, Rukikaire felt it was safe to return home.
Although many people thought that Amin had ushered in a new regime which was going to be peaceful, which was going to be unlike Obote, within a couple of years, it had gone sour, and people started disappearing. A lot of people started being killed, many more than Obote had punished, because Amin was not locking them up, he was killing them.
Rukikaire recalls that he worked under a lot of pressure and threats, as Shell BP had been nationalized and was under government control. And when things became bad, he had to flee the country again.
That was shortly after Bishop Uluum was killed. And my uncle, called Bishop Chivenjere, did you hear about him? Yes, was thought to be the next victim. We had arranged to smuggle him out of the country through Rwanda. And after discussing with my family and other people, we thought that our own lives were in danger.
80 years later, when Idi Amin was also toppled, Rukikaire, who loved staying in Uganda, was excited and returned home once more in 1979. Later, Rukikaire, Yoweri Museveni and others formed the Uganda Patriotic Movement, the UPM.
To challenge the two political parties, but primarily to challenge UPC and Obote. So we formed it knowing that there was very little chance for us to win, but also knowing that time had come for younger people to show to the country that the polarization of the country around two political parties, largely influenced by religion and tribalism, that kind of logjam had to be broken.
A year later, on December 10, 1980, Uganda held general elections, which left many people dissatisfied. Rukikaire insists that the elections had not been free and fair.
And as he promised during our campaigns, we made it very clear that we were going to use now the military option. And we did. That's how this house was used as a staging point for the attack of Kabamba barracks. Museveni was here, slept here. Kagame was here as part of the 27, Rwigema, and many others.
From here, the 40 combatants, 27 of whom were armed with guns, set off to attack Kabamba barracks on February 6, 1981. During this time, Rukikaire had to remain in hiding in case news of the attack was linked back to him. Soon he went back into exile for the third time.
Of course, this was treason. This was a government. Obote was there ruling, and here we were planning a guerrilla warfare through intermediaries. We agreed that I should leave and go to Kenya to try and organize, tell the world that a war had been launched against Obote's government and that we expected support.
Just like in Kampala, Rukikaire's home in Nairobi became a place of refuge for many people in the struggle. Though he dedicated his life and property to liberate the country, Rukikaire says there were many differences within the government which made him very uncomfortable.
Although eventually we merged into NRM, we knew that we were not really completely the same. Yeah. I was older than them. My beliefs and attitude with so many other people were not the same like theirs. And this continued to reflect itself after we took power.
Rukikaire was eventually appointed the State Minister for Privatization in the finance sector. However, it was during the privatization of the Uganda Commercial Bank (UCB) that he ran into problems with several irregularities that frustrated him. And as a modest man, he resigned from the cabinet.
What I regret is the manner in which it was being done behind my back and to some extent behind even Museveni's back. You see it. You see it. The people who made the whole thing read about and have admitted publicly was Salim Saleh and the late Chigundu. You remember Sulaiman Chigundu? Yes. You will see it. It is all there. It went behind our backs and did what was really not supposed to be done.
Now at the age of 81, he says he would be happy if Museveni made public his exit plan.
I think we as a movement, we should have tried to work on a succession plan many years ago. When we talked, before we removed the presidential term limits, and we now tackled the age limit, one thing which we should have thought about is to set up a mechanism for transfer. Let's not use the word succession. I cannot say it is too late completely, but you see, if Museveni and the people who are in control, for that matter, including myself, because I'm not an outsider completely, sat down and agreed on a plan or a mechanism for transition. That's a better word. Then I would be quite happy to participate.
Rukikaire, who is a canon in church, says he is enjoying his retirement, but he's also very active in his private business. Agness Nandutu, NTV, Living History.